So in case I'm a big stinky head. Inco is like, oh boy, my dad and I were all having nice, but the week was very calm, and now I'm really screwing this up, aren't I? Anyway, he's seeing Scalar, and they're giving him a key. I do like the whole like, oh, really? You're pulling out a phone, really? And it's like, no, no, stop talking. But I gotta say, like I get it. Like he might fall down the stairs, like have a spell of dizziness because he might have brain damage in that way. You know, brain damage can sometimes come with fatigue and all that fun stuff, which could make him fall downstairs. So fine, but that is like off the table. They've pointed out this isn't going to happen, which is why they let him go at all. I don't know. It feels like it's trying to have it both ways. It's cutting the knife. I mean, knives cut on both sides, Seffi. That's how a fucking knife works. Man, I'm being accused. Oh, there we go. I just had to get a good laugh out of my system. Anyway. Given the subtle tweak at mentioning Olivia's name, Ferris knew something of the circumstances between me and her now. I wasn't sure how much, but I suspected he wasn't keen on the idea of us sharing the elevator anytime soon. Yeah, fair. Yeah, he says it fair. Additionally, we have spoken to Coach Solly about how your injuries may preclude you from normal participation. He continued. Oh, shit! Fuck! Ooh! He's doing the double quote! Oh, that makes me want to flex, because that's... So many novice authors are afraid of this. However, one note. That is not an uppercase, because quotations are considered to be part of the same sentence they're included in. They do not get uppercase unless you use a period. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy. Almost there. 8. B+. Attendance will continue to be obligatory, but taking in physical activities or not. Once your doctor provides the school with the documentation their injuries have healed in full, you'll be able to join your classmates in regular activities again. So, basically, he has to show up, but he doesn't have to do anything. I mean, Coach Solly can give him something lighter to do, like some sit-ups or something. Actually, no, sit-ups make a lot of blood rush to your head if you do it. Because it's pretty intense. You know, you could go for a walk. Keep those legs moving. The nurse quickly interjected about how critical it was that I followed guidance lest my injuries get worse. I already knew that part, of course, but I informed her that I understood completely. Yeah, just go along with it, buddy. Don't be difficult just to be a snark. Solly, for the most part, just looked as disgruntled as he normally did. I think they brought him here just to drill the point home, rather than him providing the input. I would also advise that Mr. Coach Solly, that punitive discouragement of Mr. Nito will also be aggressively... Yeah, Principal Scalar noted, staring... Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, he fucking beamed you. He beamed you in the back. Not in the head, by the way, in the back. It is Mia that got him in the head, and it is Scalar, and it is Solly that beamed him in the back. Like, that under dismissive grunt from Solly, an annoyed, raised eyebrow from Ferris. That was good, at least. Still some mild PTSD from Mr. Sparkling's head. Solly threw a dodgeball from the ground floor into the second floor classroom and hit an empty seat to prove a point. I thought she hit a student. But I am rereading it, so who knows. The last dodgeball that I had taken from Solly put me out for half a day. No, he hit you in the back. Solly is smart enough not to go for head injuries. That was entirely on Mia. As far as I understand it. Maybe I read it wrong. In which case, I shouldn't reread things. Taking one again would probably actually murder me. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, buddy. Your teachers have likewise all been informed about your usage of your phone as a medical necessary text-to-speech device. Why not just give him the notepad? Come on! As well as written notation and communication. However, I would stress to remind you that while it is a medically necessary device, it is still a distraction, she explained, leaning forward, looking me in the eye. You will receive disciplinary actions if it is found that you are busy abusing your accommodations to play around in class. I nodded. Again, fair. Man, this really does feel like they're laying down the law, huh? I wonder, why are we doing this, though, other than giving Solly some sludge? The nurse gave me a basic rundown of certain medical expectations of me, given my condition. Signs I should see her, resting at her office if I was feeling woozy or lightheaded, and so on.
I never ever gotten the full scope of Olivia's accommodations at school, but I had to admit, the line they were feeding me was thorough. No doubt, because Mr. Ferris was actually putting a grindstone to absolutely everything right now. Both from the regular audit, as well as events around the formal. As well as the events of the formal. The term formal is a bit... I affirmed that I understood and promised her that I would check in with her if I felt anything at all, which seemed to placate her. I almost wanted to ask how she and her husband were doing, but it wasn't the right time or mood. Maybe later. Oh yeah, she married the guy, right? Yeah. I almost forgot. That's like the same person. Because it's such a like detail that gets... I don't even know. Is it? I don't even know. Like, that detail is just washed out of my brain with how much of a footnote it is, and it never gets followed up on. Hopefully they're doing well. Scalar and Ferris continue to go over new changes in my school routine, but honestly it was mostly stuff I knew already or anticipated. Soon enough, the early bell rang, and Scalar used it as a sign to conclude the overlong meeting. Overlong? How is it overlong? Very well, Mr. Nito. You can follow Solly to your first class. And Mr. Nito, she said as I stood, I'm happy to see that you are well. She flashed a tired smile. Oof. Oof. That's not a smile you want to see, buddy. That's a bad smile. Thank you, Mrs. Scalar. Thank you, Mrs. Scalar, I returned, before returning to leave with Solly, who kindly, if impatiently, was holding the door open for me. I turned my attention to Mr. Ferris. Mr. Ferris, could we talk after school? It is importante. Why is it doing that? Of course. I will wait for you there, he said with a nod. Content with that plan, I turned to my Simian P instructor. Let's see how classes were for me now. Solly escorted me at a pretty aggressive pace, and was clearly slightly annoyed they had to sit through that rigmarole. It's rigmarole! Instead of getting ready for his class. I don't think he had any ill will towards me specifically, though. The guy just always looked pissed. Listen, I'm writing Ophinia the Exchange Student, and like a thing I'm really hammering in on is people are pissed at Scalar a lot. Because a big change is Yatacon gets called in, because Ophinia is such a weird element to the school. It's like, he gets called in, he's like, you didn't need me here. You didn't need me here for anything. And even Solly is like, I gotta be nice, and I hate it, because no one really wants me to be nice. Like, Scalar's just overreacting to the situation. Everyone's pissed at her. And it's great. It's just fun. It just makes me go, ooh! We arrived at class, and just before I departed for the locker room to change, she stopped me with a hand on my shoulder. Remember today, no joining in today. You're stuck on guard duty, but I'm proud of you. You clearly took quite the beating, and you're back up on your feet. Keep that up. I could almost see the barest twinge of a smile on his stern face before he released me. He has smiled in the game, though. He smiled. He thought you were cool when you were trying. I changed into my uniform and entered class. Damien was literally jumping up and down with excitement, waving his arms at me. And I walked over to meet him. Sup, dude? Welcome to a whole new year! Thank you, too. And thanks for the help with the text-to-speech, I answered. Anytime, man. Makes you sound like a cyborg or something, he said with a grin. I snorted a laugh at the absurd notion. Like, it's been 3 months, man. You have, like, 6 more months to go at school, buddy. All right, cadets. It's a brand new year, and thus a brand new you. And that you will become strong. Ah, good. Solly hadn't given himself a news revolution to have an indoor voice. Would have hated to see that. And the best way to get strong, that's right, with competition. Why is there a period there? You already got. You don't have to do that with an exclamation point. Team up now, cadets! It's dodgeball day. Dodge ball. Damien, as usual, looked absolutely ecstatic at the notion. So a thing I noticed, right? A thing I noticed about Damien in this. Hold on, I need to drink because that voice fucking takes something out of me. Oh. So, a thing worth noting. Damien, day one, is a fucking moron, or at the very least, he's playing it super fast and loose. With like I have this strong theory, right, that the demo, the original parts of the demo, are vastly different. The plans for the characters are vastly different. Ben is about to say, "Oh, shut up," or something like that to Inco when he grabs the camera. Olivia seems to be a lot sterner and like harsher. Solly feels more like he's supposed to be a parental figure, like he's supposed to have a mentor role. you can really pick up that a lot of the characters are written a bit more goofily. That the original plot wasn't going to be as heavy. And Damien was going to be stupider. Or at least he feels stupider, because he's way more snippy about things. In a way that makes him look dumb. Anyway. Bro, team up! Same as first day. Except I cannot join in. Damien, I replied, pointing to my head and neck brace. I felt bad and he deflated immediately. Oh, right, dude. You probably actually died this time. I murmured in agreement. Oh, wait. I murmured in agreement with my actual voice. You can still say hello and no. I mean, those are easy, you know? It's a lot of words you can't still sort of say. Gave him a supportive pat on the shoulder and broke off from the forming teams to situate myself on some of the bleachers. High up on the bleachers. Wouldn't really want to catch a stray around and be obliterated by happenstance. A moment later, as the teams broke out, Solly blew his whistle, signaling for the chaos to begin. Balls were flying everywhere. It was almost magical to see from the outside. This probably would have looked like on the first day, but I was too terrified, or too full of myself, to really get a sense of the madness of it all. Like, Solly points out, Inco, you got too focused on doing what you were doing instead of focusing on what needed to be done. Like, again, really early on, they hammered home a couple of key points of the plot, and Solly just fucks off after that, after the demo, in ways that feel weird, right? You get me? Damien, of course, was excelling. He had a ball in each hand and was alternating between deflecting with one or throwing with the other. Whichever hand was empty would scoop up the deflected ball to restock his reserves. It was a lean, mean dodge balling machine. Right on, dude. I mean, he is very competent in that first one. It really got the impression that he was supposed to be a jock instead of, like, emotionally ripened. But maybe that changes. But I really do. Again, I really feel like the demo is like this radically different world tonally. Man, that drill has taken out of my voice. It's immediately dry. Is this what Olivia lives like? Damn, Olivia, you live like this? However, as fascinating as the mock war was, not being able to participate ultimately did make it boring after a few minutes. Only so many times you can see the same poor pterodactyl or raptor get scored on. Before it gets old, I pulled out my phone and got back to sketching. For a New Year's resolution, I settled on expanding my art skills. Why is he so... What's the point of this? I don't know why there's something like Inco needs to be an artist instead of a photographer. I guess it doesn't translate either way. Like, photography or this doesn't work. I don't... It just feels weird. Because it's always been the dividing... I didn't think I'd ever be able to reach the skills of Olivia or Liz. Wow. That was pretty silly to think. I'd like to imagine that I could match a respectable sketch by the end of the year. Fucker, you're gonna learn way faster than that. Like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but when I started drawing, you get way faster than you think once you put in the effort. Like, at the beginning, it's mostly learning some of the raw technicals of you know, you know, what your tools can do. And then over time, you start to refine that hone. You get in on it. I tried internalizing some of the Snoot videos I watched and was busy scribbling down rough, approximate lines of the dodgeball chaos in front of me. It was a messy and poor composition, but it kind of sort of looks like a gym with little people in it. I keep this up for the next 6 months, and I might actually be good. Have a good end-of-year piece for Yadak. I clicked my tongue in annoyance at the mental slip. For art class. I was busy scribbling away, and my focus returned to the dodgeball chaos when someone yelled above the din. Yo, Skinny! Watch it! Oh, no. Oh, it's Mia. Yo, Skinny! Watch it! I looked up just in time to see a dodgeball clip the bench next to me. The ball ringing as it clapped past me by less than a foot before lodging. I love that Solly is referred to as having perfect form in when he makes the opening salvo before lodging itself in the rafters. That's Mia! Ripped my head around to pinpoint the perpetrator. Maybe it wasn't fair, but my eyes found Mia first. She was mid-throw pose, her eyes, along with everyone else's, staring up at me. Oh, that bitch! Mia, that's like legally a problem. Yeah, so... Was it someone else? Oh, my face began to heat when I could feel my pulse quicken. I was working myself up to yell and try to say something appropriately belligerent, if likely unintelligible, when Solly snapped my attention back. Watson, you will aim when you throw. If I see a sloppy throw from you again, you'll be learning laps until I forget you exist. An ankylosaurus next to me, who was admittedly oriented more in my direction, squealed out an apology. I held Mia's gaze for a moment longer. I couldn't really make out her expression from here, but knowing that she probably had some smug look on her face, Solly's whistle screamed out again, and the game was back on. The class... I like how we're just suddenly getting Mia back like this. I want to know where it's going to go with it, because Promise of a Lifetime did kind of turn around a lot of its core concepts, but man, what's going on here? I worked my way down from the rafters. You're not in the rafters! I felt slightly bad that my first impulse was to assume Mia was to blame. But she had also literally done it before and proven herself to be a bit of a vindictive bitch. So the assumption was justified. Still, the flash of anger was concerning. The good news was Damien was rather happy to regale me with the exploits in the game I literally just watched him play. And we changed back to our normal clothes, which calmed me back down and lifted my mood. When we split, I worked my way towards the second floor, pausing briefly at the elevator. I thumbed the key. It's not a key card. I think it's like a literal normal metal key. Giving myself a little shrug. I'll use it if I need it, but I can still walk and probably should get some exercise. The last 2 weeks were hard on my body, and if I couldn't rely on Solly to get me back in shape, I'd have to do a bit of work on my own. I made a good time, and only felt a little burn in my legs by the time I got to Edicon's old classroom. You're walking through school, man. How can it be that exhausting? It's on the 2nd floor, man. Jesus! Noodle legs, noodle legs, noodle, noodle, noodle legs. Oh yeah, Yadakon's fucking dead, right? So I paused at the door. His name was still above the door plate. I couldn't tell if it'd be better or worse when they finally replaced it. Maybe both. I quietly entered the room. More predictable whispers around me. I took my regular seat and looked to the empty one next to me. Olivia skipped today then. Not all that surprising given what happened. I wouldn't have the foggiest idea what to do or say, but I can't say I liked it. The bell rang, and this is when normally Yadakon would slam the table, ending side conversations, so people could focus on the lesson. The substitute had no such thing between her flat-droning delivery and the so much more interesting subject that was I, whispers continued in class. Stupendous! Class ended and I packed up my note. The sub wasn't awful exactly, but she managed to make the subject I was interested in painfully boring, just like Procling. I wasn't sure what the plan about replacing Yadakon was, but hopefully it was someone that actually wanted to be here and teach. I'd be pretty mad if I failed Yadakon's class because I was driven to sleep by the sub. Fortunately, next was lunch, and I was looking forward to spending time with Damien and Liz. I worked my way to the land of the lawless luncheons. Yeah, it really does describe it like a fucking war zone the first time. And took the long side route to the backseat area. I was going to risk being consumed by a random tail fruit tray today. Concussed, sorry. Damien weighed me down as if I wasn't already on my way, with an armful of snacks and sodas as always in store. Hey dude, it's like nothing changed at all, Damien said after he shotgunned one of the sodas and crushed the carcass of a can. Ah, I like that one. Carcass of a can. Almost, I said, looking conspicuously at the empty spot where Olivia would always sit. Yeah, hey, but like I said in the messages, she's been making occasional appearances. So that's progress, right? Maybe she'll come tomorrow. Oh, what? She came out of her room. That's great to hear, Liz said as her head dipped down from the suspended salad bar. Yeah, again, like, the suspended salad bar really only makes sense in the demo world where things are a bit goofier. In the serious world, it feels a little weirder to focus on those things. Like, Liz was obviously chosen to have a specific role in the story and have a certain goofy element to her. Same with Damien. But those elements had to be sidelined for the serious times. Oh, flutters my lashes. Damien, my digitized voice chastised him. He flashed his usual sheepish grin and laughed. I don't think I would call it sheepish. He's not sheeped easily. Sorry, Liz. I was just so shocked. It slipped my mind to tell you. I mean, she doesn't care, does she? She literally told Inco, like, you know, you're kind of the girlfriend of my boyfriend. You know, the sister of my boyfriend. This was nice. Well, Olivia missing wasn't. But in this moment right here, it was a dose of some of the normal again. Damien was fighting the Mr. Meat special like it was a full-body workout, with his neck extending out of sight, gently swaying. The cacophony of increasingly violent, food-motivated riots on the far side of the room. It wasn't so bad after all. I decided to make at least an attempt at looping Olivia in on current events, hopefully not overplaying the positive response I'd gotten from Christmas. I took a picture of Damien struggling to defeat his lunch and fired it off to Olivia. Damien's having trouble at lunch. A heartbeat later, marked as read. That was fast. Isn't it ending 2 or 3? I think it's ending 3. Where Olivia gets kicked out of school because she doesn't show up. But after a few moments, no reply. She was definitely reading what I sent, at least that. So I wasn't on ignore or anything. Lunch concluded. Unforgettable luncheon. And I'd realized I bought the usual amount of extra snacks that was intended to include Olivia. I handed the extras off to Damien so I could pass them on to their intended target when he got home. Hell yeah, old snacks. Like they don't stay fresh in the machine, Safi? What? I am gonna yawn. Yeah. With that little logistical matters settled, we broke off and headed to our next round of classes. I walked my way back to Yatakan's classroom and took my usual seat. I tuned out the noise of whispers as everyone else continued to file in. A familiar voice cut through the filter. Oh yeah, and startled as it addressed me. Inco, you're back! I turned my head, and there he was, the blue Parasaurolosaurus himself, Benjamin McKnight. I forced my face to be neutral, but inside I was anything but. Well, on the plus side, your face is half paralyzed, so it should be a little easier. Oh, Ben, we need to talk, buddy! That feels way more grown-up aggressive add-on than Inco does, but hey, he is a new Inco. After a moment to collect myself, I looked away and merely grunted a reply. I could tell out of my peripheral that he seemed slightly taken aback by that, but took his seat next to me anyway. Oh, he's just coming in at lunch? What? Oh no, he's already in the classroom. I'm sorry. You're probably getting that a lot today, but I'm glad that you are doing better though. Why did I say but? I'm glad. Again, my peripheral vision caught his response. His smile faded some and his brow furrowed. It was subtle. He was definitely getting annoyed at my response. Yeah, great to see you too, pal. With nothing else to be gained by conversation right now, Ben focused on the lesson, such as it was with the substitute. You're not in this class. It's a Monday, right? And on Monday you have... No, wait, there's lunch. And then... It's lunch, then art design. And then photography. I forgot. Photography's... Is it on the same day? I don't know. No, that's on Tuesday, right? I don't know, man. The school schedule doesn't actually fucking matter, but you know what I mean. It's a weird detail that people should not fixate on, but I'm doing it anyway, because it's my stream. I can do what I want. Such as a substitute. They weren't much better than the sub for AP Art. Art design! And I even noticed Ben was zoning out of the dull reading that was happening. I may have to beg Principal Spiller to speed up the replacement process for my recovery. Class ended, Ben bid me goodbye, which I responded with a grunt. Finally, it was time for Mrs. Prockling's class. To fully round out the horrific monotony of education that was the current state of things here. Took my seat and honestly spent most of the period just staring at Olivia's empty seat. Olivia has her own chair! Why is the seat there? For other people, naturally. But you think she would have a dedicated spot just for convenience's sake? Like, that's the Olivia seat, so we don't have to move the chair away all the dang time. Because she sure as fuck ain't going off of... Like, I don't get that, man. Wheelchair people don't climb out of their wheelchair 10 times a fucking day. They just move their wheelchair in place. It's way easier, and they can make their wheelchair nice and comfortable, and never have to worry about other seating arrangements. I considered doodling, but I didn't need my phone taken away. A scaler noted, just because I was getting some special privileges didn't mean their abuse would be tolerated. I mean, the way things go, people are discouraged from talking to you. Right? Like, your teachers are technically discouraged from involving you in the process because you're more cumbersome to talk to. About halfway through the class, I had resolved to just write notes to fill the time. Because, God, this sucked. Class ended, and with the final bell, I was free from this horrid pit. I quickly slipped away and began making my way towards the principal's office. for my meeting with Mr. Ferris. It was slow going against the outflow of students, but I knew he'd wait for me and didn't feel pressure to rush. As I rounded the final corner into the office hall, most of the students had cleared out by now. I heard a familiar, frustrating voice. Oh boy, it's Mia.